folks, good afternoon or happy late morning. Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more. Cookie Fridays are right around the corner. Thanks so much for joining us a little early, a little before noon on this Tuesday. Hopefully you're off to a good start. I guess I could have probably pulled something of worth up in this other window that I could look at. But aside from that, pretty quiet conditions all told across the region. A little on the breezy side as we start the day. We'll get to that in just a minute. Check out the visible satellite, and there is quite a bit of cloud cover across the area that has impacted kind of the rate of warming as we've gone through the afternoon. Most of us should still land in the low end of the 80s. Maybe even the mid-80s. Radar products, every single one of them is made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your free roof inspection at brownsroofingla.com. Don't forget about the cold weather drive, which is ongoing. You can go to their Facebook page for more information about drop-off locations or schedule a pickup. Across the region, not a whole lot going on. Showers and storms continue across portions of the Ohio Valley, a storm system that last week looked like maybe it could impact us, but then it became more and more clear that it really wasn't going to be our issue. Temperatures as we approach lunchtime, again, cloud cover kind of doing a number on temperatures in some spots. We're still holding at 73 in Monroe, while El Dorado's well into the mid-70s, 76, and approaching 80 in Camden. It's also much breezier to the west. Or more breezier, whichever one's grammatically correct. That's what's happening in the western counties and parishes. And also mid to upper 70s as you move toward the Mississippi Valley. Daytime highs today should land for most locations into the low to mid 80s. And I know you're probably thinking, are we close to records with these types of temperatures? Well, let's take a look. Here's a look at high temperatures, the top 10 high temperatures for Monroe for November 18th. The record is 85, set back in 1930. We did hit 83 back in 2016. We hit 82 in 2017 and in 1966 and 1963 and 1934. We also saw 81 last year. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities. This shouldn't be shocking that we're in the low 80s for mid to late November. But it is obviously above normal. In terms of El Dorado, kind of the same story. 83, the record high set back in 2017. But we have been into the upper 70s and low 80s this late in November. I wouldn't, like I said, say it's common, but it is not, completely egregious to see these types of temperatures this late in November. Dew points are also relatively high. It's pretty soupy atmosphere in place, and so, again, that usually screams rain potential, but you need a big storm system to scour out that rainfall, and the disturbances are pretty weak here in the short term. Check out wind speeds. Again, they have been picking up at times out of the south and southwest. We were expecting the 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. We mentioned that in the forecast this morning, that it would be a fairly breezy day for parts of the area. To see the sustained winds up to 20 miles per hour, that's kind of impressive. So again, a breezy afternoon underway across the region. Expect that to continue as well. Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe, sets us up for more of the same tomorrow morning. Cloud cover, maybe the occasional patchy fog across the region. Winds continue out of the south and southwest overnight. A weak front approaches and teases the area to the north as we go through the day on Wednesday, but really doesn't impact the area. In fact, I expect to see quite a bit of sunshine as we go through the day, and then we repeat the whole process with the cloud cover increasing with low-level moisture streaming in during the morning hours on Thursday. Now, of note, a lot of the computer models are suggesting that we could see storms that start over the Arklatex, and then as we move toward daybreak on Thursday, it entertains at least some rain potential across far northwestern Louisiana and southern Arkansas. Again, I've kept the rain chances about 20%, pretty brief and pretty isolated as we go through the morning hours on Thursday. But as we go into Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, some slightly stronger winds in the low levels of the atmosphere. Surface winds will probably pick up a little bit ahead of an advancing trough, cold front, whatever you want to call it. It's more of a prefrontal trough than anything. And while you see the thunderstorm potential, again, afternoon and evening on Thursday, there's also a lot of computer models that suggest development across northern Louisiana, western Mississippi, southern Arkansas. So I've bumped the rain chances up for the areas in yellow that really don't see rain there according to the Futurecast. I've bumped those rain chances for a good chunk of those areas up to 30% for Thursday afternoon. Obviously, scattered activity will be a possibility as that front eventually kind of drags through the region. It leaves us in a corridor of opportunity for more scattered storms through the day on Friday. Again, it doesn't look to be a lot of widespread sweeping rainfall. It looks to be a lot of scattered showers and storms. Hard to forecast around, hard to plan around. Not the washout that a lot of folks were advertising late last week when everybody kind of started sounding alarm bells of the pattern change. A lot of folks took the pattern change and ran with it, and they shouldn't have ran with it because, again, pattern changes sometimes are a little bit more gradual than they are sudden. Sometimes they are big sweeping storm systems that move through the area, and sometimes it's more of a gradual process. And this looks to be more of a gradual process that starts Thursday, Friday, and continues into Thanksgiving week. In terms of what you see here on Futurecast and what that translates to in terms of potential rain totals over the next couple of days, clearly these are some lackluster totals, and it's also fair enough to say that, again, computer models are very imperfect, and these are simulations, and this is all based off of a model that's trying to forecast scattered showers and storms through the region. So, again, don't take it as the written word. Here's the official rainfall forecast over the next 5 days, which those two graphics kind of align and fall together and kind of agree. Align together is the word I was looking for, but you can kind of see how they really kind of run parallel to each other in terms of the rain totals that are expected through the next 5 days. Obviously, as we add on into early next week, rain totals go up a little bit, but a lot of lackluster totals in terms of what was advertised late last week. And as the model data has continued to kind of hone in on this scenario, it's really backed off a lot of the aggression, if you will, in the forecast for late week. So that's what we're dealing with Thursday, Friday. We'll get to that again in the 7-day forecast in just a second. The forecast has been uploaded to the app, so you can hop over there if you need the specifics and you need to move on with your day. But I also wanted to take a look at next week's forecast because, again, we've got a lot going on. This is a look at the upper level winds. Jet stream type winds, not necessarily the mid-levels, but the upper levels. This is a 300 millibar map, so if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. But overall, just again, take my word for it, it's the upper levels of the atmosphere. Big ridge of high pressure that's been in place, big hump in the jet stream, it starts to get pushed east by the middle parts of this week, and you can see the beginnings. This is our first little disturbance in how it's oriented in the atmosphere across the Red River Valley, and this is the upper level components of that storm system that could bring some rain chances back in as we move through the daytime hours Thursday and into Thursday night and Friday morning. But in the upper levels of the atmosphere, I think it's fair to note that this disturbance kind of chips away at the ridge of high pressure. It pushes it eastward, but it is not a huge sweeping altering storm system in the upper level pattern. In the mid levels of the atmosphere, it also kind of gets flattened out and weakened. So it brings our rain chances, and then it just kind of moves on its merry way. Ridge of high pressure moves back in, continues to keep us dry, especially through the daytime hours on Saturday. If you have outdoor plans on Saturday, I think that's going to be the driest, most settled day of the next week outside of today and tomorrow. But once we hit that stretch, I think Saturday's probably the quietest day. And as we go into the early parts of next week, this is a larger storm system that moves through the region. And in fact, I'm going to go back because I didn't put a pause where I wanted to. This is the larger storm system that sweeps through the area as we go through the day on Thursday. I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but now I have to replay the whole graphic because I put a pause in there. So again, storm system moves through on Thursday, Friday, and then the larger storm system moves in early parts of next week. By Sunday, Monday, you start seeing the impacts, and then by the central and into the central United States at some point early next week. It is also fair to note, again, we are looking at trends for a storm system that is a week away. So the timing and the strength of this storm system continues to kind of ebb and flow. Some computer models are very insistent with a stronger, deeper storm system that could bring severe weather and heavy rain and all that stuff. Some systems, some models have it just kind of as a transient system that sweeps through rather progressively, rather quickly, brings some cooler air in for Thanksgiving Day, and then it just kind of moves on off to the east. Way too early to go into the specifics of it, but I just wanted, it's such a big week with travel and Thanksgiving and shopping and all that kind of stuff. It is a week that we kind of need to take the early look at things. Once that moves off, there's still signs that we could be looking at another storm system right around Thanksgiving or shortly thereafter. Again, just depends on how the upper level pattern evolves, how these storm systems evolve over the coming days. Here's a look at total precipitable water, which is, again, a measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere if you were to wring it all out in terms of rainfall. Obviously, the brighter, bolder colors mean higher amounts of moisture. By Thursday and Friday, we've got this pretty deep envelope of moisture that gives us an opportunity for rain. Here's the problem, though. You've got this deeper layered moisture, and you really don't have a strong upper-level system that sweeps through and really wrings out this moisture. We have a storm system, we have a cold front, but it's a pretty weak system altogether, especially in our area. So I do expect to see rain, and we have a lot of moisture to work with, but there's no promises that we just wring all of that moisture out in terms of rainfall. In fact, there's a good chance that we don't really take advantage of the environment that's in place. Drier air moves in the short term for Saturday and Sunday. By Monday, Tuesday, you can see that deep layered moisture starting to work its way back in, even through the middle parts of next week. But then the drier air punches in, and it's probably going to be colder air beyond that as well. Can't get into the specifics, but I wanted to kind of touch on that briefly just for folks that, A, look at these videos somewhat frequently, and B, for folks that see it in the 7-day forecast or they see it in the extended forecast on the app and they go, wait, well, what's that? What's going on? We don't know the details yet, but it does look to be pretty unsettled for the early half of Thanksgiving week. If you have travel plans, I'd keep an eye on the forecast. Low to mid-80s for highs today. Sunshine, winds over eventually this afternoon. Starting to see the clouds thin out here at my house. So, again, that's going to be a process. Winds will be breezy out of the south-southwest through the course of the day. Again, some winds as high as 20, 25 miles per hour. Patchy fog a possibility again tonight, especially in the river valleys as lows fall into the low to mid-60s. Rain chances generally will drop to 0. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. You can see that we really have tried to break the rain chances up into 2 different phases instead of just oozing them through the entire weekend. I think it's fair to focus Thursday, Friday. We get a gap Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, probably into Tuesday of next week, we're going to be dealing with rain chances as well. Could there be heavy rain threats? It's a possibility. We can take quite a bit of rainfall at this point, and it shouldn't be that big of a headache as long as it doesn't all fall at one time. In terms of severe weather potential, it's a possibility, but nothing really signaling, oh yeah, we're going to see severe weather that day. We just don't know yet. I also wouldn't be surprised to run a little bit warmer than 75, 74 degrees for Sunday and Monday of next week. Some computer models suggesting we just stay in the upper 70s, so that's a possibility too. Biggest takeaway you should take from this 7-day forecast is this. There's a lot we still don't know, but the forecast is becoming clearer than it's been. So that's a little bit of a positive. Again, latest forecast is in the app and on digitalweatherdesk.com, so you can check it out there. I'll join you a little bit later today with another live look at the forecast. I'll continue to tweak the high temperatures and low temperatures and rain chances as the new data comes in. I tend to kind of dabble with that through the day, so if you see changes, don't be surprised by those, and I'll update you later today. Fish and Game comes out later tonight, and we just continue to keep an eye on what has been a very, very dry first 3 weeks of the month of November, hoping to see something change as we head toward Thanksgiving, but hopefully not in a big enough fashion that it ruins our Thanksgiving holiday. So we'll keep an eye on that. It'll be an increasing part of the forecast as we approach the Thanksgiving holiday about a week from now. Week and 2 days. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Again, the forecast is always available on the app, available for Apple and Android users. I'll catch you later today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody.